Read, read, read and grow, learn new words each day. The more you read, the more you know. Read and grow. Hey, you all. My name is Beverly Reed, and I'm here again to read you another story. Now, the name of this story is Runaway. This is a fiction realistic book, and it's also a level T suitable for fifth graders. Let's get going. Jemma Merritt folded her arms tightly across her chest. She spat on the ground and scowled at the cross country coach, who was giving instructions about the course. Blah, blah, blah. She thought of herself to herself, let's get going. I'm just going to run ahead and ditch everybody anyway. The other girls gave her plenty of room on the bench, just the way they had on the bus ride out from their city school to the suburban woods. Only super smart Kim Stanberg, whose thick round glasses made her look like an owl, didn't know better, but Jemma ignored her. Jem stared instead at the surrounding woods, so different from the streets and orderly parks at home. Here it looks like threes rule. They grow wherever they want. Jem's father had forced her to join the cross-country team because she kept getting into trouble after school. The third time a cop brought her home, he warned about loitering. No more hanging out on the street corners for her. That drove Dad over the edge. With no mom around and him always working late, what does Dad expect? Jem sniffed as the coach droned on. Her mother had left them a year ago, and they hadn't heard from her since. Jemma felt her heart twist. It didn't help that her cat had wandered off 2 months ago. Jemma had looked day and night up and down every street and alley in her neighborhood, but there was never a sign of the cat. Jemma had rescued James from the jaws of a stray dog when he was a fat kitten. The cat had helped fill the space Mom left behind, at least a little. Now he'd run away from her too. Okay, girls, we'll do this practice just like a regular meet, Coach Simmons said. Since this is your first time on this course, Jemma, you don't need to go all out. But when Jem heard the starting gun, she took off at top speed. She'd been surprised to learn that this running thing was something she was good at. She was fast, really fast, and she liked it. Running helped her let some of her anger out. She flew along a path that snaked through dense woods, quickly leaving the other runners behind. Her feet pounded on packed dirt. She came to a fork and took the widest path. The path narrowed until it was so skinny that tree branches scratched her face. Before she knew it, there was no path at all. Jem pushed stubbornly on until she came to the boulder that sat in the front of her like a roadblock. She spun around and tried to retrace her steps, but then she realized she had no idea where she'd come from. Everywhere she looked, she saw the same trees and underbush, a maze of greens and browns. At home, she recognized apartment buildings, and the streets had signs. How did you find your way out here in the middle of nowhere? She slumped onto the boulder and felt something warm trickle down her forehead. She touched it with her finger. Blood from the scratch. Woods loomed shadowy on every side. All she heard was an eerie bird call high up in the trees. Not a single horn honk. It felt weird and way too quiet. Fear tied a knot in the pit of her stomach. It spread into her chest, chilling her even more than the brisk fall breeze. She began to hear strange sounds, rustles, snaps, and then a sharp crack, like a gunshot. She dove behind the rock. She imagined the shooter coming closer. But it was just Kim Stanberg. Jemma? Jem felt a rush of relief, spiced with anger and embarrassment. She wanted to be found, and she didn't want to be found, all at the same time. She definitely did not want anyone to know she'd been terrified. She stood and quickly leaned on the rock as if she knew precisely where she was and feared absolutely nothing. And there was Kim, pushing her way through brambles, painting her hair bedraggled. What made her lose her way? Jem wondered. You got lost? Kim said, trying to catch her breath. What's it to you? Jemma spat. Kim said, I saw your bandana on the wrong path. You know, where the trail splits? Jemma hadn't noticed it was gone. She snatched it out of Kim's outstretched hand. I'll show you the way back, Kim said. I took that wrong turn in our first practice. No one came to get me. Maybe I want to be alone, Jem growled. Kim winced. She turned to go back. Jem waited until Kim was almost out of sight before following. Once they rejoined the right trail, she shot past her guide as fast as she could. See you later, Kim called. Not if I can help it, Jem muttered under her breath. She hadn't gone very far before she heard a cry from behind her. She wanted to pretend it was a bird call, but she knew it was Kim. Jem ran a few more steps. Something made her stumble a root. Or was it her conscience? She didn't want to care about anybody or anything. Mom had taught her how much it hurts to care. But she told herself Kim hadn't left her in the woods alone. She turned back. Jemma found Kim crumpled in the middle of the trail, patting the ground around her. I lost my glasses, she said. Jem spotted them nearly hidden under fallen leaves. She picked them up and handed them over. Thanks, Kim said, settling them on her face. Both lenses were badly cracked. She stared through them at Jemma. What do you think you're looking at? Jem snapped. Lots of Gemmas, Kim said. All of them angry, sorry. You probably have caught up with the others if you hadn't come back. Forget it, Jemma said. I don't care. You should. You're a great runner, Kim said. If you hadn't gone the wrong way, you would have won. It's not like it's a real race, Jem said. I couldn't care less. She made her voice sound tough, but what Kim said made her feel good anyway. Kim struggled to her feet. Coach will be wondering where we are. She broke into a pathetic, awkward jog. Jemma trotted beside her, guiding her when she started to veer off the path. They rounded a curve and Jem saw the finish line. She decided to sprint. And as she neared the waiting crowd of girls were thought at first that they were cheering for her. Then she heard what they were actually saying. Slowpoke Stanberg, first in class, comes in last, just too bad she isn't fast. A bunch of them burst out laughing. Jemma stopped short and glared. The jeering subsided and they all went silent. They're scared of me, she thought. Good. She turned to wait for Kim, gave her a gentle shove, then followed her across the finish line. She stood guard next to Kim, and her eyes dared the other girls to be cruel. One edged cautiously forward. Way to go, Kim. You finished, even with an injury and a total busted glass. Jemma clapped her hands slowly. One by one, the other girls joined in until they cheered for Kim as a team. Coach Simmons finally reappeared. Sorry, guys. I was taping Bernadette's ankle. Everyone's okay? Jemma glanced at Kim, who smiled. They both nodded. That night at dinner, Dad asked how practice went. He was checking up on her. Jem decided not to get mad. I came in last. She snared a carrot, chewed for a while. A girl found me when I got off the trail. I was totally lost. Lost? She thought about Jinx. She felt tears gather, scrubbed them away quickly, and sat up straighter. I'm pretty fast. I can maybe help that team. You keep it up, he said. He cleared his throat. I know it's been tough, so I got you something. Look over the chair. The cat was the same brindled brown as the chair, so perfectly camouflaged that Jemma had walked right past it. Jemma didn't want another cat, another chance to get hurt, and at the same time she did so much. She crouched down, pick it up, and pull it close. Just don't run away, she whispered gruffly. And I won't either. The end. Thank you so much for listening to this story and for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.